Я надеюсь, что меня хорошо видно и слышно.
Well, dear colleagues, I hope you can see and hear me well.
Так, ну что, давайте начинать.
Very well. Let us
А,
begin.
Меня зовут Варвара Веретюк,
My
я
name is
GP
Varvara Verichuk.
гастроэнтеролог
I'm a
и
GP
гастроэнтерологический
gastroenterologist and
специалист.
also an
И
expert
сегодня мы с вами
on
поговорим на
lifestyle
самую интересную
corrections.
тему,
Today we're
которая,
going to
наверное,
discuss a really
волнует все
interesting
людей.
subject, probably
Как
concerning all
замедлить
of humanity,
старение, жить
how
долго и
to
счастливо
slow
и
down
заодно
aging,
избавиться
to live
от
long and happy, and also learn about what
один из
telomeres
важных
are, the secrets of telomeres,
инструментов
since this is
организма
one of the very important
и,
tools and
собственно,
mechanisms,
один из ключей
and
к
also one of the
управлению нашей
keys
здоровой жизнью.
to
Давайте
controlling
начинать.
our
Прежде всего,
healthy
хотелось бы
life.
сказать, что
Well, dear
а,
friends, first of all,
на
I would
самом
like
деле,
to
пока мы с
say
вами будем
that actually, while
смотреть
we're going to
на
do
эти
this
слушания,
webinar, while
мы
we're
будем
going to listen, we're
в
going to
целом по
live longer.
сравнению с тем, что происходило в 20
Basically,
веке,
compared to the
продолжительность
20th
жизни
century,
планеты
life
Земля
expectancy
увеличилась
on
на 20
of
лет
humans on
на
planet
некоторых
Earth
регионах
has grown by
планеты.
20 years, even more
Хорошо,
in
мы
some
потратим
regions.
эти дополнительные
Now, let me
20
tell
лет.
you where this additional
Конечно,
20
хотелось бы
years
потратить
goes.
их на
Certainly,
путешествия,
we'd like to
чтение
spend it
книг о
on
жизни,
travels,
может быть,
spending your
даже
time with
слушать
your
что-то
family and
новое
loved
или
ones,
да,
perhaps
необходимо
getting
что-то новое
some
делать.
new
Но
education, some
практика
studies or
показывает,
new
что часто
businesses.
человек
But in
приобретает ценный
reality,
жизненный
people
опыт,
often
накапливает,
gain these
хронические
years of
заболевания,
life
которые приносят
in
страдания и
illness,
укорачивают
since
продолжительность жизни.
chronic illnesses are accumulated which
Безусловно,
shorten the
хотелось бы
healthy
понимать,
lifespan.
каким образом
Certainly, we'd
люди,
like to
которые развивают
understand
жизнь и
how
живут долго и
to
счастливо.
prevent
Вот
this
почему ученые во всем
type of
мире
events
занимаются
and to live long and
изучением
happily.
механизмов старения
That's why
в
scientists
особенно
worldwide are studying the secrets of aging, especially at cellular level,
на
since
микроскопическом
it
уровне
is
мы
there
начинаем
at
этот процесс.
microscopic levels
И,
where
конечно,
these
сегодня мы будем
processes
погружаться
begin.
в молекулярную
Certainly
биологию,
today we're not
да, чтобы
going to
кратко
dive
обсудить
deep
некоторые
into
механизмы
molecular
о том,
biology,
что
but we're going to
действительно
briefly touch on some
такое
key
воспаление может
mechanisms.
заблокировать
The
три
point is,
основных
all of
причины.
these
Это
mechanisms,
повреждение
main
ДНК,
causes
это
of
модификация
aging, can be
ДНК,
grouped
это когда
into
условная
three
молекула
categories. First
приходит
of all is
с
DNA
информацией о
damage.
том,
You all know
как
that DNA is
выглядит
a long
и как
molecule
функционирует
that
наш организм.
records
Первый
what we
метод в
look
этом во
like,
всем,
how our
насколько
bodies and
удачливы
systems
мы в плане
function, and also as to how
старения и
lucky we
нашего
are
здоровья.
in terms
Также
of
второй
illness or
метод– это
health.
эрозия теломеров.
Second category
Здесь сейчас
mechanism
расскажу, что это.
is
Я понимаю,
telomere
что это слышно
erosion.
как
Hang on,
мудрество.
I'm going
Ну
to tell
и
you more about
третьим
it. I
механизмом– это
understand it sounds
сокращение
like mumbo
запасных стволовых
jumbo.
клеток.
And next is
Что
stem
мы
cell
теряем с
depletion.
возрастом, друзья?
Now,
Так шутим
what
мы
do we
папа,
lose with
что,
age?
цитируя давно известное
Let me
произведение,
quote
молодость, красоту и способность передвигаться,
uh,
но на самом
a
деле
long, an old,
нарушение
well-known
способностей
work,
тех структурах
Beauty and
поведения,
Ability to
которые
Move.
как раз
The
несут
structures at
информацию
cellular
о нашем
level
организме.
that carry
На
the
незапамятных
genetic
посередине
data about
участке
our
они здесь
bodies
на рисунке
have
отмечены
certain
черным
areas.
цветом. Они называются
In
теломеры.
this drawing,
Теломеры–
they're
это те
color-coded
участки
black. They're
хромосомы, которые
called
не дают нам
telomeres.
никакой
They are
информации
the
про
end
организм. Они
caps that
защищают
protect
хромосомы, кроме
chromosomes.
того, именно
They carry
эти
no
участки жизни,
information, but they
которые
protect
удваиваются
chromosomes,
с
and
предыдущим
telomere
делением. Но с каждым
attach
делением
a
клетки эти
mechanism
теломеры
that
укорачиваются.
protect the
Есть
cells,
такой термин
but with
эволюция,
every division
количество
they
деления
are
клетки
shortened. So,
предельное, которое
as
клетка может
cells
выдержать,
divide,
заставляя
as
нас,
you know,
из-за чего
there is a
клетки вдруг
certain number
складываются
of
в
times
выхода из
that cells can
системы. Вариант
divide,
номер один–
following which
теломеры
there are
становятся
two
слишком
options.
короткими,
When telomeres become
не
critically
могут
short,
закрепиться, не
they cannot
усвоить
attach any more
радиацию,
enzyme
разрушить
and
много новых
double
клеток,
the life of
тогда
our
клетка
DNA
становится
or grow
стареющей,
new cells,
и
and then
она
cells age
погибает.
and
Это такое
die.
самоубийство
This is
клеточное,
a
то есть
type
очищение
of
организма
cellular
от стареющих
suicide,
клеток.
cleansing the
Мало того,
body from
чтобы
aging
клетка не
cells.
погибнуть,
Moreover, before dying, the cells can express certain chemical properties, certain chemical ferments that, on the one hand, protect the immune system from aging material, but if there are too many of these, they can also launch and lead to chronic inflammation in surrounding cells. If this balance is impacted, preliminary early aging can happen. Also, the excess of this cellular material can lead to errors in division. If the cells try to divide, despite the critically short telomeres, and then we get cell errors, mutating cells, and this can lead to risks of oncology and various cancers. So there are risks of chronic illnesses, risks of early aging, and also oncogenesis development, various types of cancers. Another very important mechanism we mentioned was DNA damage. Our gene library and DNA is damaged every day tens of thousands of times. UV rays, for instance. At the moment, it is summer. Many of us are going on our summer vacations to spend time away. However, please remember, using your sunblock, sunscreen, and protecting your skin from UV rays is very important. Your eyes and your retina also has to be protected because UV radiation leads to early cellular aging, various type of damage, and if we speak of skin, it increases the risks of skin cancer and melanomas. Also, it is important to mention other oncological factors such as environmental pollution, also bad habits that people have. Everyone knows that smoking is bad for you. However, the mechanism how smoking causes early cell aging, this is how it happens. It causes the DNA damage and also leads to quicker telomere shortening. Chronic inflammation, chronic stress also impacts the DNA and leads to early aging. Chronic inflammation on its own causes some type of a chemical storm. I pictured it here as a volcano, so that you understand that these inflammatory molecules cause a chain reaction, and there are many active molecules that can lead to DNA damage and other processes such as chronic stress. This chronic stress can also cause hormonal disbalance and thereby damage DNA. Also, it is linked to chronic disease development such as sugar diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart diseases, autoimmune diseases, and chronic inflammation. Now, glycation. Glycation can be translated as oversugaring, excessive sugaring of the DNA, but it's not only DNA, but also proteins get glycation. In this picture, I showed you a quick image of, so you can imagine exactly what it looks like. Let's take a protein. It is elastic, and after our webinar, you can conduct a small test. You can break an egg and you will see egg protein. It will have liquid and elastic structure. But if you add sugar to this protein and start stirring the sugar, the egg protein is going to change its structure. It will become dense, not transparent, and not non-elastic. And this reaction is non-reversible. We cannot later extract sugar from the protein for it to revert to its original state, to become once again elastic, stretch, and be transparent and clear. Same as in our bodies, if our blood glucose levels grow above certain healthy levels, this causes to cellular damage, protein damage, DNA damage through glycation. So people with diabetes, sugar diabetes, pre-diabetic conditions age faster because of this glycation. Medicine has a certain diagnosis called glycated hemoglobin, and it is one of the indicators to point at excessive glucose links to proteins, specifically hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that carries oxygen in our bodies. This is a good indicator for you to understand how to control illnesses, and if glycation of hemoglobin is too high, we understand it's an indicator for faster body aging. Stem cell depletion is next. You all certainly heard about stem cells. Let me briefly cover it. Stem cells are eternal students, eternal youth. These are progenitor cells that can re-educate and become specialist cells to support the body's needs for your muscles, bones, fat, or cartilages. They are transformed into specific cells for this. They can also reduce cell death, apoptosis, or reduce inflammation. And also, this helps our bodies to repair damage. However, certainly it is worth noting that the store of stem cells in our bodies is not limitless. Certainly, research is still ongoing, and they're talking about storing stem cells for umbilical stem cells, for instance, so that at a young age, so that at all the ages, adults can use own stem cells to treat serious illness. However, today there are no reliable therapies, but research is ongoing, and these are important prospects for the future. Also, luck is a very important factor, whether you get lucky or not, because DNA we discuss a lot have longevity genes and aging genes. Now, the most interesting fact is, even if you are not very lucky, when preserving your healthy lifestyle, you still enjoy a chance to live longer and better. However, if you have longevity genes, but you have a really unhealthy lifestyle, don't have your fruit and veg every day, lead a low mobility lifestyle, smoke, drink a lot of alcohol, lots of radiation. Also, you cannot always use this good chance of longevity genes. Our genes can switch on and switch off. They can become active or inactive under certain factors, including environmental factors. This is called epigenetic impact. So epigenetics is translated from Greek above the genes, and it studies the mechanisms on how to activate and deactivate genes. It turned out that your lifestyle can change your epigenetics. But let us come back to what we first were discussing, and I mean the shortening of the telomeres. These are the short ends of the telomeres that get shortened as we live. This rate of shortening is associated with aging and chronic diseases. The mechanism that is able to change the length of this telomeres led to the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. It was awarded to scientists for their research into the protective mechanisms of chromosomes against terminal underreplication, and the effect of the telomerase enzyme on telomere length was discovered. This is the next slide, where you see this construction crane. It's a natural enzyme that stabilizes telomere length, doesn't let them shorten. And so it turned out that telomerase doesn't only protect the chromosome ends and prevents telomere shortening, but also maintains cell replicative potential. It regulates gene impression, protecting our DNA. And telomerase is still being researched despite the fact that many dozens of years, many decades have passed since. Now, it is very important also to note this. I show this slide on every seminar, reminding you why this is important. So, proper nutrition, lack of bad habits, limited consumption of sugar and salt, walking, regular physical activity, sufficient sleep, normal weight, love, positive thinking, proactive attitude to life. This is not just empty noise, but these are mechanisms that impact the speed of aging. And all of this is not only related to our DNA, our genetics, but how we impact our bodies. Nutrition is a very important and effective means of maintaining aging. Our food doesn't only impact your body, but also your state of mind, even the level of stress and anxiety. But the most surprising fact is that despite we pretty much managed hunger, starvation worldwide, half of populations, half of adult populations suffer from one or more chronic illnesses that could have been prevented if people would have only had regular balanced diets and regular physical activity at reasonable levels. Sounds simple, doesn't it? So let me show you this model for healthy nutrition, healthy diet. It's called the Harvard plate since scientists from Harvard University were the first to come forward with this model. But most of the World Nutrition Associations, be it US, European, Japan, Australian, or others, they all have nutritional recommendations that indicate that balanced diet is so important. So fruit and veg is so important. As you see, they should dominate proteins, complicated carbs, and the rest you can balance. But never forget this balance. It is important because various foods have not only construction materials to maintain our body's work, but also active substances that impact aging and protect you and repair from damage. Protection against accelerated aging involves telomere protection, reduction of inflammation, so anti-inflammatory action. This is done through antioxidants and other active anti-inflammatory substances, various additives that help with anti-glycation action and provide stem cell support, and also carry epigenetic action, switch on and switch off necessary genes, turn on your aging, long, healthy aging genes. Currently, research is ongoing actively to research telomerase activators. It is possible to extend cell life and functional capacity. You remember how your telomeres have to be the right length so the cells can continue operating and splitting, dividing. But the issue of telomerase activation is still being researched. Is it safe or not? Because it was proven that the high activity of this ferment that repairs our telomere length, they were found in three types of cells. Remember, stem cells first, reproductive cells. Certainly, they have to be always young. I'm speaking of sperm cells, for instance, cell division mechanisms are constantly ongoing, and men, for instance, every month or two develop new reproductive cells that carry the reproductive function. Also, most cancer cells carry various mechanisms for activating telomerase, and so they remain eternal youth. They behave aggressively in your bodies. They actively distribute through the body and do their work. But in cancer cells, telomerase is activated due to damage, and activation of telomerase through small compounds or ectopic TERT expression doesn't result in tumor genesis. You can follow the links and check this scientific work, but all this while research was ongoing on telomerase and various substances that can activate it never showed any risk of shaping, forming tumor cells. Also, in vitro and in vivo trials proven that active base inhibition in tumor cells is different from telomerase activators. So what can we show you now, and how can we use this discovery in practice? Basically, first of all, this should move every one of us to ask each other a question. What can I do to protect myself from accelerated aging? How can I efficiently choose the right type of prevention and increase my telomerase activity and prevent aging effects such as reduction in reproductive cells and DNA damage? Well, print this out and put it on your fridge, on the wall, on the board to remind yourself why we need healthy lifestyles. Also, moreover, this information is so necessary to remind us how we can increase telomerase activity in healthy cells. The lab data suggests this is the right course of action. It has a lot of potential, and it provides us with potential of anti-aging, reduction in cell aging through supporting telomere cell length. Also, neuroprotection. We don't only want to look good, but our motor and brain functions are equally important. Our work today is highly related to our cognitive abilities. So there was research that suggests the importance of this. And certainly we have to also we can also reduce pathological changes in the brain through telomerase activators. Also, we are aware today that the whole range of aging diseases such as arteriosclerosis and lung fibrosis also is related to telomere shortening. Certainly, we would like to avoid these unpleasantries also through improving telomerase activators. Now, today in 2025, what do we have available? First telomerase activator discovered became cycloestragenol. It was actually a property which was derived from natural plants. Some years later, estrocalcite 4 was also derived from the same plant. And today there are food additives based on this activators that are able to reduce inflammation and also act as telomerase activators. Also, quercetin, resveratrol, curcumin, and linoleic acid also carry the same properties. This is very important because when we talked about resveratrol and we discussed its anti-inflammatory action, reducing DNA damage. As you see, there are no substances in nature that only have one effect. Even cycloestrogenol is not able to only activate telomerase, but also has powerful anti-inflammatory action and protect us from DNA damage through this. That's why I'd like to call all of you to lead this camp. Pay attention there and learn about new product that is also able to shorten your telomeres and other mechanisms of accelerated aging. We'll tell you about how to use it right. And also we'll have another webinar dedicated to the products where we're going to discuss not just the aging mechanism, but also the ingredients to this product and everything else to note. That's why I won't say goodbye now, but instead see you again and see you at the next webinars. Thanks a lot.
At 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.